Hey there, I'm Denise. I am the owner and lead artist of Denise Marie Beauty, a bridal hair and makeup company in Orlando. We specialize in timeless, radiant beauty, and today I wanted to take you through one of our most requested bridal looks. So the first step is to start with your skin. So I'm going to be cleansing the skin with micellar water just to make sure that there's no extra makeup or oil that's getting in the way. The next step is to exfoliate. This is one of the most important steps because it helps the makeup to adhere to your skin because it removes the layer of dead skin and oil in between the makeup and your face. I like to use Sonia Roselli's Sex Appeal on clients because it is very gentle and can easily remove the dead skin. All you have to do is rub it in and watch the dead skin peel off. Kind of gross, kind of fun. Then I use some micellar water to remove it. The next step is to add hydration to the skin. So I do this with Multi-Active Toner by Dermalogica, followed up by the Water Elixir by Sonia Roselli. This has hyaluronic acid in it, which helps to plump and hydrate, which also helps your skin to make less oil. Next is to add a caffeine serum under the eyes for any brides that have puffiness or dark circles. And then I like to add more hydration to my skin, so I'm adding some squalene oil from The Ordinary. Okay, and the last step is to add your moisturizer. So here I'm using Active Moist by Dermalogica. I've just put it on my damp beauty blender sponge and am putting it all over the skin and also on the neck. Very important to remember the neck and décolleté, and just to go over and make sure everything is sitting in there. So I start by priming the eyes while the skincare sinks into the skin, and I am using Shawn Richards 4K Longwear. It is a silicone-based makeup as my eye primer, but you can just use a regular eye primer. So I blend this all in with a concealer brush, and once you're done here, you can head over to your eyeshadow. So I am using the Viseart Grand Pro Palette 1, and I'm starting with the second to lightest shade to just put down a base for the shadow, and then I go in with my crease color, and I'm just doing the outer V, just kind of laying down the color. I'm not too worried about the exact shape of it yet. And then you go in with your blending brush and blend. You always hear people say it, but blending really is the key to making anything look good. I'm adding a little bit more color now. Just evening out the sides. I'm using the medium dark brown shade and then taking that light brown shade from the beginning and buffing it. We start with eyes first to let the skincare sink in, but also to make it so that any fallout from shadow does not ruin all of the hard work you've done on your face. This way you can just remove anything that falls down. On to my favorite part of the look. We are going to be adding a foil shadow with the kitten shade of the Stila Magnificent Shimmers, the Shimmer and Glow. This makes a beautiful lid, foiled lid. So all I do is put it on with a flat brush and then spread the extra across the eye, and then take my blending brush from earlier and blend out the edges. We don't want to see any harsh edges here. Everything should look like it flows from one color to the next. Next, we're moving on to the outer V. So here I have a dark purple shade and a pencil brush, and I am adding it to the outside corner. What I'm doing is a take on the Eye-Fi technique by Ray Morris, where you're going to take the shadow directly out from your lash line, your bottom lash line, and up to your crease where your lid and your mobile lid meet. And from there, you're drawing a straight line out. This helps to make your eyes look larger. Right now I have it as a straight line, but once I blend, I make it more curved to make the eye look larger and more defined. Here we see the benefits of doing our eye makeup first. I have some micellar water on a Q-tip and I am just cleaning up the edges of the eyeshadow. Here you can see I went a little bit too high, so I'm going to go back in with my blending brush that has a little bit of the makeup from earlier and just soften up the edge a little bit and put it exactly where I want it, and then soften the other side. And again, blending. We are always blending. Okay, now here I'm taking that flat brush that we used for the foil on the lid, and I'm just using the excess makeup that's still on it to highlight the brow bone and the inner corner. And now we move on to our eyeliner. For wedding makeup, it's extremely important to use waterproof, long-lasting eyeliner. My favorite brush for doing eyeliner is a small angled brush. I like it because you can get into the inner corner, and it also does the work for you when you want to make a winged eye. The shape of it is perfect for stamping out the flick and then filling in a nice smooth line. We now move on to foundation. I have a lot to say about foundation. I will probably do an entire video just on that. But one of my favorite bridal foundations is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. I especially love this foundation for dry to normal skin and even normal to oily but not full oily skin. I take it on a wet beauty sponge and press it into the skin. It's not sanitary to reuse sponges on clients, so I always give my sponges to a client to take with them. You want to ensure that you, of course, get your entire face, but also then bring it down your neck so that you look like you are one cohesive color. There's nothing worse than looking like a floating head because you don't match. And then you're just gonna build up in light layers to add coverage to any spots that need a little additional color. Now for concealer, I'm using the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. It is a waterproof concealer. Again, very important for brides. And I've taken that on my sponge and am just tapping it in very thin, light layers under the eyes. One of the reasons that people get creasy under eyes is because they use too much makeup. If you have really dark under eye circles, you should add a color corrector here before your concealer, and then add your concealer. We always do concealer over foundation. That way we can just add the additional coverage only where it's needed so that the rest of your skin looks like skin. And then you set everything with a setting powder. I am using the RCMA translucent powder. Put it on my beauty sponge and tap it under the eyes. Make sure it's really in there. Right now I am only concealing under the eyes because I'm going to be using a cream contour and cream blush. So here I have my RCMA palette. I'm going to be using one of the darker shades as my contour. Again, using the beauty sponge to apply this. Tapping it in. It's kind of a tap and roll motion. I also like to bring it under the jaw and in specific places under the neck to chisel everything out and make everything look a little bit sharper. It's important to add in contour when you are doing makeup for photography. That way your face doesn't look too flat. We are now moving on to blush. I am using, again, the RCMA palette. For bridal makeup, it needs to last a long time. But because of this, I like to do the sandwich technique where we start with a cream contour and a cream blush, and then at the end, we top it off with a powder contour and a powder blush to make sure that everything lasts all day. Okay, and then I add a setting spray to seal everything in, and then I set the face with the RCMA powder. Again, bridal makeup needs to stand up to a full day of dancing and crying and sweating, so we add in multiple layers to seal in all of the products. And here I'm just touching up the edge of the shadow. Okay, now we're moving on to the powder blush. So applying that to the apples of the cheeks and then swirling and buffing it. This brush that I'm using here just has a little setting powder on it to lighten it up, and then onto the contour. I lay down the color and then go back into blend with that brush that just has the setting powder on it. If you ever feel like you use too much color, all is not lost. All you have to do is take a clean brush or one with a little bit of setting powder and blend it all in. I like using a powder on there because it helps the makeup to spread, kind of works like an eraser. And now we're adding in our highlighter. One of the tricks to getting beautiful, radiant bridal skin is adding highlighter on the tops of the cheekbones and even up into the temples a little bit. Again, taking that clean brush to smoothen the edges. You have to be careful with highlighter that you don't get in a line of shimmer across the face. Okay, a fun trick is to take your blush color and lightly blend it into your crease of your eyeshadow. It just helps your blush and your eyeshadow to look like they are cohesive together. Next, I'm taking my pencil brush from earlier and going under the lash line. You want to balance the shadow on top with the shadow on the bottom. If you have a strong eye look on top, you want to have a stronger amount of shadow on the bottom, and always blend it so it's very soft. I usually recommend doing a medium to light brown. Here I'm going in with a smudger brush into the inner corner and adding a little bit of gold into that bottom line, and then taking that same gold, it's a little bit darker than the one we already have, and adding it into the middle of the lid for an additional pop of color. We are almost done. Onto the brows. So first you're going to brush out your brows to get the shape. And then I am using a Senna brow powder in a medium brown. Start with the middle to end of your brow first so it gets the darker color, and then move on to the front of your brow so it is lighter and softer. We want soft, natural, well-shaped brows. We don't want them to be block brows. Brows can look very trendy and really show the time that we got married, so you might want to consider a more timeless, less trendy look with your brows. And finally, you need to protect all of your makeup, so I am taking the Ben Nye Final Seal Setting Spray. It's perfect for humid Florida weather and helps to seal your makeup in for the day. Now, one thing I like to do is to make the highlight look more glowy than shimmery. So I take a beauty oil. Here I have the Sonia Roselli water oil on a beauty blender and just tap that in. On to my favorite part, the part that makes the biggest difference, lashes. So here I am using the Kiss Lashes in 11. They are a wispy lash that has more length on the outside. And I use a special latex-free lash glue. This is the Callus Lash Glue. You place it on the lash band, let it get tacky, and then place it onto your eye. Sometimes the bottom lashes like to join the upper lash party, so we take a Q-tip and just separate them. Now I put mascara on after applying lashes because it helps the false lashes and your lashes to bond together. Normally on a client, I'd be using a special mascara with a disposable wand, but this one is mine. Just be sure to use a waterproof mascara. That kind doesn't really matter as long as it is black and waterproof. Make sure you get the inner corners there so that everything looks like it's blended. Okay, then you're going to take your lip liner. This is a waterproof lip liner. This is the Smashbox 24/7. Line your lips, and then take your lipstick. This is Sean Richards, and I ended up blending two of the colors here. To make it last longer, you can also add a lipstick sealer, but I would recommend making sure that you bring your lipstick color with you to apply. And lastly, now that your mascara is dry, this is a Japanese lash curler. I just go in and curl the lashes. I like this little one because it helps me to be very precise. And voila, we are all finished. Fix your hair, little primping, and you are ready to get married. Please let me know if you try this look or if you have any questions. I'd love to hear what your ideas are for your wedding day makeup. If you are looking to do your own makeup for your wedding or a wedding that you're attending, I would love to help teach you. I am offering virtual lessons right now, so please take a look in the description box below for how to sign up. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.